The cheapest coding model is not the one with the lowest token price. It is the one that finishes the task correctly before your rollback turns Friday evening into a hostage situation. Claude Sonnet 5 is Anthropic's attempt to become that practical default. The company calls it the most agentic Sonnet model yet and says it can plan, use browsers and terminals, and operate autonomously at a level that recently required a larger Opus model. That sounds like a universal recommendation. It is not. The useful question is whether Sonnet 5 gives your workflow enough verified autonomy at a lower complete task cost. Start with its position in the family. Sonnet has traditionally been the middle lane, more capable than the smallest model, faster and cheaper than the flagship. Sonnet 5 narrows the gap with Opus 4.8 on agentic work, according to Anthropic's launch evaluations, while exposing effort levels that trade cost for performance. Effort is not a turbo button. Higher effort can let the model explore alternatives, use more tools, and recover from mistakes. It can also increase latency and token consumption. A one-line configuration change does not become more correct because an agent spent 20 minutes writing a memoir about it, so route by uncertainty. For a well-specified refactor with strong tests, medium effort may be enough. The repository tells the agent what success means, the test suite provides ground truth, and the diff can be reviewed. For a cross-service migration with weak documentation, higher effort may pay for itself. The model must discover dependencies, inspect several code paths, and revise its plan as evidence changes. For an irreversible production operation, model effort is not the main safety control. Human approval is consider a real task. Replace a deprecated authentication client across an API, a worker, and a command line tool. A weak workflow gives the agent one sentence and waits for confidence. A strong workflow first asks it to map every call site, identify behavior that must remain unchanged, and write a migration plan. Then it edits one boundary at a time. It runs targeted tests after each change, the full regression suite at the end, and a security check on token storage and redirect handling. Sonnet 5's value appears when it can sustain that loop without constant human steering. Planning is useful. Tool use is useful. Neither counts as success until the repository provides evidence. Anthropic's own engineering guidance makes the same architectural distinction. Workflows follow predefined code paths. Agents dynamically choose their steps. The company recommends starting simple and adding autonomy when it measurably improves outcomes. That means many coding jobs should remain workflows. Format the files, run the linter, execute a known test command, build the package. Those steps do not require a model to rediscover civilization every Tuesday. Use an agent for the uncertain center, deciding which files matter, diagnosing why a test fails, comparing implementation options, and adapting after the environment disagrees. Now consider price. Anthropic launched Sonnet 5 with introductory API pricing of $2 per million input tokens and $10 per million output tokens through August 31, 2026. After that, the stated price becomes $3 for input and $15 for output. Do not build a permanent routing policy around a temporary sale. Measure cost per verified task. Include prompt tokens, tool result tokens, retries, failed runs, human review, and the cost of defects that escaped. A more expensive run that succeeds once can beat 3 cheap attempts and a developer cleaning up the crater. Also measure wall clock time. A coding agent that consumes fewer dollars but blocks a deployment for 2 hours may not be the economical choice. Conversely, a fast model that produces a plausible but untested patch is merely delivering uncertainty with excellent latency. Permissions are the second half of the default decision. Give routine read access where appropriate, allow safe test commands. Require approval for publishing packages, changing infrastructure, sending external messages, modifying secrets, or deleting data. The model tier should not silently change the authority tier. Then collect traces. For each run, record the task, repository state, model, effort, tools, elapsed time, token usage, test outcome, review findings, and whether the final change was accepted. After 50 representative tasks, you will know more about your default than a launch chart can tell you. Make the pilot boring on purpose. Select recurring maintenance work, medium refactors, and a few difficult migrations. Run the same frozen tasks through Sonnet at 2 effort levels and through your current default. Blind the reviewer to the model name. A model that writes confident explanations can influence a reviewer before the diff is inspected. The test's behavior and accepted patch should decide the score. Confidence is a presentation property, not a regression suite. When should you escalate to Opus? Escalate when Sonnet repeatedly fails a task class that matters, when the reasoning spans many ambiguous systems, or when one stronger attempt is cheaper than several weaker retries. Do not escalate because the ticket contains the word architecture. Developers have been using that word to frighten budgets for years. When should you route downward? Use a smaller model or deterministic automation for repetitive, reversible, well-tested work. Reserve Sonnet 5 for tasks where judgment changes the path. So is Claude Sonnet 5 the new default for coding agents. It is a strong candidate for the middle of a routing system, capable enough for substantial agentic work, adjustable through effort, and priced below the flagship lane. But a default is not a crown. It is the first model tried under a defined risk policy. Make Sonnet 5 earn that position on your repositories. Give it real tasks, real tests, realistic permissions, and a complete cost ledger. If it finishes more verified work per dollar, it becomes the default. If it only produces more impressive explanations, you have purchased a very articulate intern.